Hey, what's up? On this episode we have an interview with Brenda Hatley from the USA. Check it out.
Hey guys, my name is Brenda Hatley. I'm from the USA Wushu team. I specialize in Chongchen, straight sword, and spear. So I started martial arts when I was 11 years old. I really wanted to learn martial arts because I was obsessed with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it took lots of convincing. I finally got my mom and dad to sign me up for karate classes. And it just so happened that that karate teacher also taught a young man as a teenager who later went on to live in China, learn Wushu, bring a Beijing Wushu team member back home as his wife. And so my secret thought I had a knack for Wushu, so he told me to start training with Zhang Hongmei and Philip Wong at Pacific Wushu. And it just kind of evolved from there. Who inspires me is actually myself, and I know that sounds bad, but what I mean by that is I'm very self-critical, so when I go out and compete and when I perform, the person that motivates me to change is myself, because I always see mistakes and things that need to be improved upon. However, that doesn't mean that I don't have amazing coaches, because I definitely do, and they always inspire me to do better, but ultimately it's myself. I never had my parents pushing me to do Wushu or succeed at whatever I'm doing. It's always been self-drive, so that's my answer. My best competition experience, if I really think about it, was probably the first time making the US team, which was 4 years ago. Making the A team, for that matter. So that was a big turning point in my Wushu career, because I actually had to start competing internationally and go to the World Games. And since then I've competed in Argentina, Colombia, Mongolia, China multiple times, Turkey, this year I'm going to Russia and Malaysia, all in 1 year. So definitely that was the start of it. But since then, I think my best experience was just a couple weeks ago at the World Games in Cali. And once again, it's not necessarily the competition that's so great, it's meeting all the athletes from around the world and making these amazing friendships in a heartbeat, because we'll have this common common passion. So it's always a great experience. So when we first really started getting in the idea of competing for the Olympics, I was kind of turned off, we had the Nandu rules coming in, and at that time I wasn't really at the level where I could compete with Nandu. Fortunately, that's changed for my own training, but originally the sport I thought changed too fast, and the choreography got kind of ugly and flamboyant, and it really moved away from just being Wushu, and it was too flashy, music came into play, things like that. But now, we have the compulsory forms that's kind of moving back to more Wushu, and I think the best is like 70s and 80s Wushu. That's like the peak of Wushu. So now I'm okay with the Nandu. I understand its necessity, and it makes our sport more regimented and easily judged, which is important for the world stage. So I think Wushu has a good chance to continue to grow. However, I'm not actually that juiced to be in the Olympics. I think Wushu is its own thing, and I don't think we need an Olympic medal to make our sport special. For Wushu is get through this year. It's a very hectic competition year, like I said earlier. First I had team trials, US trials again in July, I believe. And from there, 2 weeks later, I went to Cali, Colombia, and now I'm preparing to go to the Sport Accord Games in Russia, and straight from there flying to Malaysia for the Wushu World Games. So that's a crazy calendar, and that's my goal, is just to get through it and try to stay healthy and at my competitive level. But on a more personal goal, I think building strength is my biggest obstacle. I'm actually a very slender and slight build, so having strength in Wushu is essential. And my long-term goal is just to keep going. I don't really, a lot of people keep asking me, when I'm going to retire, but I don't really have a time set. I think when it's time to retire competing, my body will tell me, but for me, it's just keep going until I can. Well, I can just say that it's completely shaped my entire life. I've been doing it since I was 11 years old. I grew up in a very blue-collar town where people don't necessarily leave their city and, have very blue-collar jobs. Like my family's painters, mechanics, that sort of thing. And doing Wushu, at the age of 16, I went to China and trained, so that opened the world to me, really. And because of that experience, I later studied abroad for a year at Peking University. I speak Chinese. I'm an acupuncturist. And once again, I've traveled all over the place because of competitions and things like that. So from that, it's opened my mind to understanding that people are all the same around the world. And of course, the more natural things with learning martial arts, like Buddha, and understanding discipline and respect is something that's very important and essential to being a martial artist, in my opinion. And also modesty and being humble is something that's really been impressed upon me for martial arts. So I'm currently preparing for the Sport Accord Games in St. Petersburg, Russia. I think I leave October 23rd, and then immediately following that is the World Wushu Championships in Malaysia. So I'm kind of preparing for both at the same time because they're essentially at the same time. And last night I even re-choreographed the performance, so let's hope it goes well. My tip is try not to be too harsh on yourself, but sometimes that's good because nobody's gonna hit your phone as much as yourself. But always, remember Jiayoo, and it's not as bad as you think.
Please check our website in the description and don't forget to subscribe.